Comme l'a récemment dit le président de la République, la pandémie mondiale est une sonnette d'alarme. La crise de la Covid-19 que nous traversons bouleverse en effet nos certitudes. Elle nous rappelle surtout que le vivant est complexe et qu'il nécessite une approche transversale. Santé humaine, santé animale et santé environnementale sont intimement liées. Nous devons encore faire mieux. Il faut toujours mieux prévenir pour avoir in fine moins souvent à guérir. Sur le plan mondial, échanger dans un objectif de prévention et d'anticipation des maladies zoonotiques est une priorité absolue. C'est évidemment le but de ce colloque, de l'initiative PREZODE qui nous réunit aujourd'hui. Je l'espère, ce projet fera naître de fortes coopérations entre tous les pays et permettra à terme de renforcer notre vigilance commune face à l'émergence de zoonoses pouvant devenir les pandémies de demain.
Life in this planet knows no border, so it is essential that science goes beyond existing borders to one planet, one health, one science.
We have the problem that 60% of existing human infectious diseases are zoonotic and 70% of the emerging infections come from a natural reservoir.
It would be very useful to find out how many unknown viruses there are, where are they, and which species of wildlife have them, who is making contact with them, if we really want to prevent future pandemics. And that is exactly what the PREZODE initiative is focusing on, these sorts of basic science around zoonotic diseases that will inform policy decisions in the future. And I think that's why this is so critical. And when we calculate the economic costs of pandemics, we estimate between $500 billion and $1 trillion a year. And probably that's an underestimate. SARS-CoV-2 itself will be responsible for $16 trillion of economic shock to our global system within a few months. And it may end up costing a lot more. But global strategies to prevent pandemics through deforestation reduction or the implementation of selective bans or modifications to the wildlife trade would cost just in the tens of billions of dollars annually, 2 orders of magnitude less than the damages pandemics produce.
We need to work upstream to mitigate the risks with 2 complementary actions: anticipating and preventing emergence risks, and also providing early detection and rapid reaction before pandemic spread. So to do this, we also need further research on understanding the risks of emergence and epidemics. We see the initiative so far, but this is still obviously very much open to discussion, with 5 pillars. First is zoonotic risk assessment. Second is risk reduction. Third is early detection and socio-economic evaluation. And fourth is prototyping a surveillance system of the zoonotic risks, certainly in close collaboration, supporting the efforts of the tripartite of the UNEP and other national health and the national health systems. So we will contribute to what they are doing. And cross-cutting, extremely important, is a pillar about stakeholders' engagement, co-development of health networks and policies.
The goal of PREZODE is to really change the current dogma about pandemics. So currently, most of the research and the pandemic preparedness plan is really about how we can control a pandemic when it's here. While actually, so in this PREZODE initiative, the goal is quite different, is to really be efficient before the pandemic is occurring. The objective of this PREZODE initiative. So the first one will be to try to really assess what are the risks, what are the factors that drive the risk of zoonosis emergence in wildlife and in interface between wildlife, domestic animals, and human populations and environment, of course. So the second objective will be to try to understand how we can reduce the risk of zoonosis emergence, especially through the conception, the design of socio-ecosystems that are sustainable in order to prevent emergence of zoonosis. The third objective will be to try to improve our capacity for early detection and also to evaluate the socio-economic impact of such strategies for zoonotic risk. A very important achievement also will be to develop a global surveillance system of zoonotic risk in order to have a data system that is extremely interoperable with a lot of very heterogeneous kind of data through the world. So we will try to develop this kind of global surveillance system that can aggregate a lot of different data. And finally, we will do all of these objectives with a clear also objective of capacity building through the world.
So what we are really pushing forward there and promoting is this innovation to move from this top-down approach to a bottom-up or a mixed approach. So at the moment, the strategies are really defined at the higher level, pushed by international priorities. They're defined at the state level, and they're enforced at the local and individual level. However, in the field, we know that it doesn't work this way, and often this gets modified in the way, and sometimes it doesn't work at all. The idea is really to build with the individual farmer or household or people, local communities that interface with animals and the local authority to build up the strategy based on their constraints and needs. And of course, to embed this within the national strategies and policies to ensure sustainability and efficiency in its implementation.
We have also to raise awareness and commitment, including at political level, to sustain research and scientific knowledge, like through the PREZODE initiative, for example.
PREZODE and the these discussions are extremely timely and extremely welcome. When we say One Health, life depends on it, I think now this year we have learned that we really have to have an urgency in our international work, that the scale of our work really has not, for various reasons, been in keeping with the risk. And so life really does depend on the way that we work together.
PREZODE is really the research arm of this long chain of needed changes, and we need to make this One Health really dramatically change the way we look at things and the way we will prevent the next pandemic.
Is really making sure that resources are going to support high-risk countries, and they may be high risk, in particular because of their inherent risk from biotic, abiotic, and social factors, but they also may be at high risk because of just capacity gaps that we have to fill. And so really not leaving those countries behind, but frankly, starting with them to prevent the next pandemic.
We have an in-house internal, One Health team looking at this. And in this capacity, the bank is very pleased, to support and be part of the PREZODE initiative.
We have seen a large interest from many countries, and we see that there is focus in some regions in Africa, in Central and Latin America, also Southeast Asia. Certainly, we have a number of participants from Europe, but also some from North America and Australia. Importantly, we not only have research here, we have a bit more of a half, which are people involved in operational missions and also in the research to operational interfaces. So that's really encouraging for what PREZODE should do, which is to connect precisely research and operational activities across world regions.
The importance of the co-construction with sub-Saharan country in terms of research, operational network, and the bottom-up approach involve communities in the different pillars, participatory approaches.
PREZODE should be there then as a catalyzer of effort to better integrate actions on animal, human, and environmental health, to better also coordinate effort at national, regional, and international level.
A strong contribution for numerous countries, universities, institutes, and NGOs are already ongoing in the region.
Together with INRAE, IRD, CIRAD, Pasteur Network would like to foster a European and international mobilization around the One Planet Summit.
The Earth has reached many tipping points, and so we need this joint efforts to tackle the environmental, biodiversity, health, and climate crisis.
So what is next now? What we believe is that for such an ambitious initiative, we need a strong co-design stage with all partners. This can lead us into a scientific agenda and a strategic agenda. And to do so, to create those agendas, we need to work together through working groups that can be by pillars, the pillars of the initiatives. We need to have further participatory workshops at national scale or regional scale. And obviously, we need to engage dialogue with the donors to understand how this could be supported. So we expect to work mostly in 2021 in that co-design mode. Then we should get in early 2022 or late 2021 a first implementation plan where we would really start engaging into all the buildup of the pillars in each region. And we would start engaging the policy support. I guess after 2 years, we need some evaluation and we need to start off with a second implementation plan.
What can we achieve? I think it is really important to ask ourselves, while building a network with a goal like this, to also define some overarching and interim goals that we can actually achieve. One, for instance, is the sensitization and mobilization of society and of politics regarding this common goal, this burning topic. The political mobilization, the acknowledgement of biodiversity being a political representation of other topics like climate change, for instance. And the other is cross-sectorial collaboration. Collaboration is a goal per se. So there is a lot of work ahead. I'm very happy to have been invited to listen and to give some perspectives on this whole undertaking